Okay, so I'm going to talk about North Korea's nuclear program. And I'll try to go over the history of North Korea. And let me start with the question, which a lot of people worry about, is can Kim Jongun nuke the United States? The short answer is not yet. However, for nearly 60 years, North Korea has been developing the capability to be able to threaten the United States, and that's the story that I'm going to tell. And over those 60 years, we've had three leaders, the only three leaders of North Korea. On the upper left, Kim Il-sung, the great leader. On the lower right, Kim Jong-il, the dear leader. And then the young one in between. And so let me start out with asking the question, so why did North Korea go nuclear in the first place? And really the question that you can ask is, why not? And these are scenes from the aftermath of the Korean War, when Pyongyang was destroyed several times, as was Seoul. But North Korea was totally destroyed. The United States had threatened to use nuclear weapons to end the Korean War. And of course, this was reasonably shortly after the two atomic bombs were used in Japan, namely at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And what was so incredible about the atomic bombs, it was one bomb, not 300 plus B-29 bombers with thousands of bombs that leveled Tokyo or Dresden, for example. It was one bomb, one city destroyed. And the reason for that is that, of course, what the atomic bomb unleashed is the power of fissioning or splitting the atom. And when you split the atom, it turns out you get millions of times the energy that you get in all other forms of energy. You know, whether it's coal, whether it's TNT, whether it's gas, it's millions of times. It's that factor of millions that totally changed warfare. So that was Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That was not too long before the Korean War. And so then what really brings home the issue as to why not, shortly after Hiroshima and Nagasaki, after the end of World War II, the US had commissioned the so-called Acheson-Lilienthal report that J. Robert Oppenheimer, who was the scientific leader of the Manhattan Project, had helped to inform. And what they already said, and this is almost 70 years ago now, they said, you know, this power of the atom, atomic energy, plays so vital a part, whether it's military, economic, security, that the incentive for other nations to develop this is overwhelming. And so that's one thing you have to remember. So you're sitting there as Kim Il-sung, the incentive is overwhelming because of this power of millions. They also added the second part, which we've had to live with now for almost these 70 years, and that is that development of atomic energy for either peaceful purposes or for military are for much of their course interchangeable and interdependent. So you can also use this factor of millions to make nuclear electricity, or you can use the factor of millions to destroy cities.